Not yet. Okay. Ah, there you are. I am so glad you are here. I am Liz. It is Wednesday, the 6th of May, 2026, and welcome to It Is Alive. And double welcome now that the Instagram folks are here. So let's start with the day. You notice I don't have anyone on screen yet. And honestly, I had a delightful interview planned for you guys, but a family emergency came up for this particular author. And we want to grant her some grace right now so that she can deal with what's coming at her and what she's having to deal with and what the rest of her extended family is having to deal with, because it's a lot. I'll reach out to that author again in about a month and we'll see if we can reschedule. But I want to give her time to handle what she needs to handle in her personal life. So all good wishes to her. Or them. I've never asked. However, let's do our normal start. What are we drinking? What are we wearing? What are we drinking today? Oh man, I went for broke today. Yes, I have astragalus in here because I've been favoring it recently, and a little burdock, and a little bacopa, but I also added some gotu kola, some lemon balm, some. And there's one other herb in here. If it comes to me, I'll let you know. But delicious today. Definitely added just the right herbs to make that base blend even tastier. So I know I added the right stuff. And you'll see I've got my fabulous little shell necklace on from the store just to show it off for you guys. Think of these as the protectors of this from the sea. So if you're dealing with deep emotional issues, this is a reminder that you can make it through it and you can create safe space for yourself to get through those deeper, scarier emotional issues. Beautiful, beautiful wire wrapped shell just for that purpose. And honestly, if you look up this little sea creature, very, very good at defending itself, its space, and going after what it wants with its little tooth that it can shove out there. So it's going to go out and claw at anything that you don't want in your life and get rid of it for you. It's a really nice little tool. And of course, I have on some fabulous rings. I'm all amethyst on this hand. I've got a cut amethyst and a rough amethyst. And on this side, I've got the hematite, and then I've got the sterling silver lotus. The other rings, as always, on my ring fingers are wedding rings and engagement rings for a wedding and then a redo of a wedding. So those are always there. So what is happening in our world here? Well, I want to say we had an amazing full moon last Friday. It was so much fun. And if you missed it, feel free to sign up for the next one. That'll be on the 29th. It's at the end of the month. We had a blast. We did our guided meditations. It's a lovely experience. Food and drink after. We had a little conversation after. It was just fun. Earlier that day, we held a memorial service for those who had passed in ICE custody or otherwise at the hands of ICE. We used a verified website that shows its sources to determine that list. That was nearly 100 people long. We said the person's name and lit a candle for them. And we did that for each and every victim. It was a very moving ceremony, touches my heart at least. And some of the stories of some of these deaths are so insane to me. Not getting somebody dental care and the sepsis that ensues from untreated dental issues leading to death. That's such a simple, basic form of human health care that we should be providing everyone. Just frightening to me. The total ritual itself took a little over an hour. And then, of course, we had the candles going until they went out. And some went out within 20 or 30 minutes. Some lasted 2 or more hours. So it was really interesting to see how things burned down and the patterns those created. It was just a fascinating process and so important, I think, to memorialize all of those people and to keep the fact that they were forced into sacrifices they shouldn't have been forced into. Let's keep those memories alive and keep fighting for everyone's value. Anyway, that's what we did last Friday. It was very good. This Saturday, the Alliance Coven, which is led by a group of 3 teachers, is having another installment of their 102 class, basically. These are their dedicants, I believe. So it's not open to everyone, but if you're interested in joining the 101 class when it comes up again, A great time to meet those teachers is about 2 p.m. when they are done with their class. They have a 12 to 2 class. You can maybe meet a few of the people involved, shake a few hands, so to speak, and see if their type of crazy fits your type of crazy well. Because as I'm so fond of saying, you got to find the right group, the right personalities, the right people, because you're going to spend a lot of time with them. So come on down and meet them if you want. Later that same Saturday, the 9th of May, we'll have tea and tarot from 3:30 to 5/5:30. Depends on how many questions y'all have. The last class was a whole lot of fun, and it's Ravenwolf leading it again this month. Margaret will lead another month coming up soon, but he is having such a good time deepening his own knowledge, furthering his own studies, and then bringing you not just what he's known for decades, but layering on that new information, which is so exciting. It's exciting for him. It's exciting for the store. It's exciting for the people who get to come to the class. It's so much fun. It's a class where you'll learn some things, but you'll also put things into practice. So if you have a deck and you're interested, do bring it. You will have the opportunity to do a reading or two. I promise. It's built into the class. It is a by donation class. So pay what you can afford to pay. And of course, it'll be done a little before the store closes. So you have time to wander about if you want to, or come early and wander about ahead of time. Of course, on Tuesday and Wednesdays, we've got the Herbal Program Year 1 and the Herbal Program Year 3. I like keeping it to just 2 nights a week as a single parent of a teenager. I just think that's a good idea. But we go through, we don't do the entire herb roll because while I was a child in South Jersey and I can speak very, very, very quickly when I want to, as you can see right now, I have no problem enunciating and just getting it all out there. Reading Dr. Seuss was a breeze. But not even I can talk fast enough in the longest class I teach to get through the entire wall. But we do go through A to Z over a 3-year program, as many herbs as I can fit in, which is usually 9 to 12 per month of each of the 9 months for each of the 3 years. In Herbs 3, of course, we're having a blast. The other classes in Herb 1 would be non-invasive diagnostic methods. So we're looking at hands, feet, nails, faces, ears, tongues, the interview process, a whole variety. I'm sure I missed something somewhere. The tongue, did I say tongue? Yeah, the tongue. We'll go through different remedy preparations. We usually cover 2 to 3 per class, and we make something in each of those classes. And then, of course, there's the organ systems class. We're going to talk about an organ. You're going to kind of get the 101 on its structures and how it works, just a nice gloss. And then we're going to talk about the herbs that commonly get used to treat not just the organ, but the organ in the context of the 6 tissue states that I use in my practice. And you just start to learn why aniseed was an ingredient in one kind of cough medicine for one kind of cough, and wild cherry bark was a cough medicine for a completely different kind of cough and was used in a different cough syrup. It's in fact, why we have red cherry flavored and green licorice flavored cough syrups to this day. It's based in those older recipes that actually had herbs in them and how effective they were. They wanted to carry that marketing forward. But we go through those basic 4 topics every single month for 9 months. By the time we get to year 3, we're in depth into pulse reading. We spend a whole 9 months on pulse, how to read pulses effectively. We practice a lot. We're doing case studies, you presenting a case study. We are doing the nervous system as an underpinning to everything that happens in the body. So the 6 tissue states are applied to that level of function. And of course, Materia Medica, always Materia Medica. We're just in the last third of the alphabet. Friendly reminder, Friday the 15th, Saturday the 16th, and Sunday the 17th is Art-A-Whirl in this area. Parking will be a little scarce. Come early. Plan to spend the day kind of just having fun in the neighborhood. Come shop with us. Come take the Journey into Magical Practice. If that's on your schedule, that's coming up on Saturday the 16th at 2 p.m. Always a visual feast of ritual. It's an amazing class. It's a hybrid online and in-person class, and we host the in-person portion. Or If you are doing Art of Whirl on Sunday, the Gardnerian 101 class is at 10, from 10 to 11. Reiki 1 is being offered at noon on the 17th. And of course, the Cancer and Chronic Illness Support Group is at 4 p.m. that day. And I keep hearing from folks, I want to go. So come on down and hang out with our fabulous teacher for that class. That is a free event, completely free event. Reiki 1 does have a fee attached to it. You can find that on our website in the event section. If you're seeing the QR code on the screen, that's the QR code that will take you right to our event section. But keep in mind that all of those classes are taking place during Art of Whirl. And during Art of Whirl, expect that church parking lot that I recommend you park in to be off limits. Expect it to be closed. So you may be parking 1 or 2 blocks behind the store. We don't have any parking ourselves. Not even the staff has parking. I don't have anywhere to park. I park in the St. Clements parking lot too. So that on those days, I will be parked however close I can get to the store in the residential neighborhoods behind or on the other side of Central Avenue, behind us or on the other side of Central. That will get us through Art of Whirl splendidly, though. And maybe I don't know, can someone come in and get the classroom done for me? Looking for painters. Saturday the 23rd, there will be a Reiki 3 class. Now, these are taught one-on-one. So if you are ready for your Reiki 3 and your Reiki teacher just isn't available and you've got all of your ducks in a row, we can talk. But Reiki 3 is generally one-on-one. It's not a very complicated process, and it's really not even a lengthy class. It's taught the old-fashioned way. At 3 o'clock on Saturday the 23rd, our astrologer, Adam's most popular series, Astrological Magic. That one is coming up on that Sunday. That's the 23rd again. It's an amazing by donation class. And if you want to know more about both astrology and how to apply it magically, come to that one if you can, and just pay what you can afford to pay. By all means, if you can afford to sponsor somebody who can't afford quite as much, consider that. I mean, the teacher appreciates it. We appreciate it here at the shop. The following Sunday, the 24th, is our Reiki Share at noon. Come on by. Even if we just spend an hour, it's always fun. We get to talk Reiki. We get to trade services. It's easy. So much fun. And on later that day, on Sunday, the 24th, we have Palmistry 101. That should be with Eshu. Hopefully he'll be there for that one. We will see what happens. But if not, I promise we'll have some fun doing palm readings either way. And on 29th, the Friday, we will again have the full moon at 6 p.m. when the store closes. So if you can, get here shortly before the store closes, or if you wanted to shop first, come an hour or two before the store closes and hang out. We encourage robes at that ritual. We encourage bringing a little something to share, a little food or a little drink to share is good. And we'll have a great time. It's a lot of fun to do those rituals. I absolutely love it. And of course, I have never, ever do I forget now, because I put it at the bottom of the list, parking, except during Art of Whirl from the 15th through the 17th here in May. It's a good idea to park in the St. Clements parking lot. They are 1 block south of us. So they're off of Lowry, and you need to go 1/2 block west of Central Avenue, and you'll find it. It'll be a left turn if you're coming from Central and Lowry. There's just the back half of that block that's a block south of us. You will naturally park very close to our store, which puts you very far from their church. And the parishioners are going to park close to their church, which naturally leaves the spots that you want open. So very little conflict involved. If there's room in that parking lot and it's not Art of Whirl, it's usually open, and feel free to park there. It's a nice, safe spot to park in. Readers. Look at my fabulous readers schedule. I just pulled the one in off the floor. So today, Wednesday, we've got Eshu all day. He will be fantastic. Tomorrow, he's here for the first half from noon to 3, and he is then followed by Ravenwolf from 3 to 6. Ravenwolf comes back at 1 o'clock on Friday, and he'll read until 4, and Daryl will read from 4 to 6. Daryl does Oracle, He has done his own Oracle deck. It is 6-sided cards. It is amazing. He will give you a free tour of the deck, but the readings are really, really astounding. All of these readers are amazing. They've all passed auditions to be here. They're all very, very good. Ravenwolf does tarot, and Eshu does tarot and palmistry, which means he had to audition twice. That's fair, right? You got to show what you can do in each modality. Eshu will be back on Saturday from noon to 3, followed by Margaret from 3 to 6. It's the only day Margaret is here. So if you want a reading from Margaret, an excellent tarot reader, you want to come in on Saturday afternoon. Sunday, we'll have Eshu all day again. We love that. And Daryl from noon to 2 on Monday, followed by Morpheus, who does dream interpretation. He's the only one that's not coming in with cards or things to read for you. He talks to you about the dreams that you tell him that you've had recently. And he can really provide insight. So if you get stuck because the stuff you see online or the stuff you've seen in books just doesn't fit, doesn't jibe right with how the dream felt or seemed to you, come in and talk to him. He's a great resource for that kind of work. He will help you work through to actually get to the meaning that makes sense for you. Tuesdays, Ravenwolf is reading from noon to 3, and Daryl, or Oracle reader, from 3 to 6. So that's my fabulous schedule. All the readers have agreed to a $2.50 a minute price, and there is sales tax on that. So we have a chart in the reading area that gives you the total, the tax, and then the grand total with the tax. So you can see exactly what you're getting into for a lot of the average reading lengths that people tend to choose. We see occasional 5-minute readings. I tend to see a lot of 15 to 20-minute readings and occasionally something longer, just to give you an idea of what people like to do. Well, so much fun. So come down and meet some folks and say hi. We'll get excited about that tarot deck you want and encourage you to do some fun stuff. I wanted to show off some of the fun things we have right now and talk about some stuff that is coming in this week. It breaks my heart that I don't get to show you the stuff that comes in from one of our publishers because it inevitably arrives one day too late. So I thought I would run through the titles today, but I thought I would show you guys this fabulous little cleansing kit that we like to put together. It's got a shungite, a Palo Santo, and a white sage smudge. There are instructions in the kit and a little piece to recite if you need that kind of inspiration, if you want a little verbal boost to what you're doing. This is actually a nice little kit to cleanse and protect your space. So if you're interested, it's here. The deluxe kit is coming. It will have white sage and another different kind of bundle and a worry stone and some matches and some of the other accoutrements you might want to do this. This one is, what are we running on this one? $10.55. The other one will be, it's a little more luxe. It'll be closer to 30. But let me also show you some things that I'm going to have upstairs. Most of these I'm going to bring upstairs for at least the week. These are various used books that are up online. We sell most of our used books on ABE.com. ABE stood for American Book Exchange, hence the ABE. So if you want to find abe.com or abebooks.com, they'll both take you to massive numbers of used booksellers. And these are a few features that I'm going to have up here for a bit. This first one is Merlin and Wales, A Magician's Landscape. It's by Michael Dames. It's coming in at a little over $20. If you're interested in picking this one up, if you're looking at that sort of Celtic, Arthurian kind of look at life. So Michael Dennis goes through a lot of the differing pieces of lore about Merlin to piece together something that seems actually fairly reasonable. So that's one of those. One that might not actually live up here, might live downstairs. You might have to request if you're interested. The Talisman Magic Workbook by the Pagans. This is a legendary book, much wanted in the world. So the price tag is over $600 for this little puppy. Worth it if it's what you're into. Honestly, it's a great collector's piece, but it's probably going back downstairs. I won't lie. This one, I think this one was $22.22, probably because it amused me. It's probably worth $22 to $23. Encyclopedia of Astrology. This one is by Nicholas Devore. You gotta love just the old-fashioned book cover, just the feel of the book. printed when it was printed, which was probably in the 60s or early 70s. Fantastic book. Plus, it's a good encyclopedia of astrology if you're looking. And then, of course, I have, and I'm counting it as a book because there is a book in it, The Cup of Destiny. Do you remember these? Is this part of your past? Cup of Destiny has a tea leaf interpretation book, a cup, and a saucer. So these are fantastic little sets. That's out here. You know, how much are we offering that one for? It's only $38. It's really not bad. So that one will probably live upstairs for a week or so you guys can come and check them out if you want in our used book, our fancy used bookcase. And then I have for you guys the stuff that's coming in probably tomorrow that are all new releases. And I did look, and it looks like every one of these new releases is actually coming. There were a couple that weren't available yet, so I left them off our order. So we have ancestral roots. So if you want to claim your ancestral heritage, figure out how to work with your ancestors, even if you don't have the knowledge that really you should have because your ancestors came over, I'll be honest, as slaves, and their family history was cut and deliberately not recorded, their names, their original names deliberately not kept. Ancestral roots will help with that, as well as with anyone else who's looking to reconnect with roots they may not have a good understanding of. Maybe you want to know more about your genetic ancestors, but you yourself were adopted or have a parent who was adopted. These kinds of books can be really helpful in figuring out methods of feeling that connection that can be so important and foundational and so supportive. Give us a sense of identity, a core to move out from that can help us face the harsh realities of life. So, recommended book. The Big Book of Planetary Aspects. If you have been looking at astrology, you get the houses and you get the planets and you get the signs, but the squares and the trines and the sextiles, this is the book for you. Planetary, I just talked about planetary aspects, which is lovely. Now, I honestly thought this was the most fun oracle deck that was out there. Again, there were two decks we couldn't get because they just weren't available yet, even though they are on the new release list. But the Haunted Cottage Oracle came out. And the pictures are very cool because they have just that sense of mystery to them, because the face might not be visible. You know, there might be a hat, there might be a veil. Things are not quite what they seem, or maybe they are. It's a haunted oracle. You're going to have to check it out. The Holy Year of Thelema is another one that's coming out and will be in the store this week, probably Thursday, maybe Friday. The Holy Year of Thelema takes you through a practical timetable for studying Thelema over the course of a year, getting your introductory work done, basically. And if you don't have a group near you, might be a good option for you. If you're wondering what Thelema is, it's very closely tied to Aleister Crowley's practices and Aleister Crowley himself. So if you're interested in that side of the occult, this might be a really good introductory book for you. Now, obviously, they're all new releases. They're going to hit our shelves this week. I haven't had time to see any of them yet, really, but I'm looking forward to them. There's going to be a miscellany of fairy folk myths and magic coming out as well. I think that's just going to be a fun book to play with. The Seeker's Guide to Grimoire Magic. Now, this one is interesting in that, kind of like the Holy Year of Thelema, it's not Crowleyite. It's going back much further historically, but it's a practical look by a couple of different authors on how to approach grimoires practically, how to translate them into the 21st century well. It's going to be, I think, a really informative book for anyone who's just starting to look at the older grimoires. There is also going to be the Silver Witchcraft Tarot deck coming out. Now, I can hear some of you going, wait, what? Are you kidding me? I have that. That's not new. That's not a new release. It is, because they fancied it up for its, I think, 25th anniversary. So there's going to be a nice version of this deck basically available. It should be fun. Also, the Symbolic Tarot is coming out, and that's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little bit like the Disassembled Tarot. It'll be interesting to see the cards up close, to take a look at them. And there will be a historic deck, Tarocchi Fini Montecchi. Montecchi? Somebody let me know in the comments. and a book on tarot, just in case you need help with your tarot and you can't make it to Tea and Tarot, which I'm so sad for you if you can't make it to Tea and Tarot because it's so much fun. Your tarot guide is coming out. So those are all the new releases we've got coming out. There were 2 Oracle decks from this particular publisher we didn't put on the list when I ordered this week, simply because they were not quite available yet. So I will go back and check and we'll look. And you guys look too. Take a look. These are all coming from Llewellyn Publishing. Take a look. Tell me which one you like best. There's an Arthurian one, and I think the other one might have been a fairy one. Something along those lines. I can remember some of the cards that were on the screen. Let me know which one you think is the coolest, and I'll bring that one in first. We'll see how that goes. They're both Oracle decks. So that's all my basics for you. So knowing that we had this horrible incident with our guest's life and her family's lives just recently, I was scrolling through, just looking to see what folks are chatting about. And there's a creator I like, occasionally disagree with her, but like her a lot, over from the UK. And she was talking recently in the last few weeks about, buy this fabulous witch kit. It will get you started on everything. And she was saying what I would say. No, it won't. And I kind of view those witch kits the same way I view block knife sets. Don't buy a block knife set. Buy a block and get knives one at a time as you need them. You will not need half the knives that come in that block. I promise that you just won't. Now mine has spots for steak knives, like for dinner knives, but the main part of the block where the knives go, I have a fork, like the kind of fork you put in a roast to slice, to carve it up. That's in there. That's more useful to me than another knife. And I view the witch kits the same way. You might not need some of the herbs or some of the stones they put in there. I think you're much better off getting an ounce of the different herbs you need, going through the stones yourself and picking the ones that you want to work with first. Doesn't do you any good if half the kit is stuff that you end up not touching. You have to throw it out or give it away if you can find someone else who's interested. So I'd much rather that you decided you really wanted to work with amethyst and you came in and looked at jewelry and the amethyst tumbled stones we have, and you looked at maybe picking up a book on crystals and stones so that you can expand your own breadth of knowledge on it, so that you can come back and pick something that's not at the top of everybody's list, not the amethyst or the rose quartz. But why should you pick leopard skin jasper? Now, every Friday I do a live and we hit on one stone and I talk about some of its properties and ways to use it for 5 minutes, give or take. And you're welcome to do that too. Check those out. They'll give you little synopses, at least a little understanding of what that stone's used for. But if you're not drawn to the stone or don't have a reason to have the stone in your private collection, why buy it? So why buy the kit that's going to give you a bunch of these stones that you may never, ever actually use or want? You might not even like the way they look. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know your tastes. You might want all of the stones you work with right now to be blue. So you're going to get blue lace agate and blue quartz and there's all these wonderful blue stones that you can choose from, but perhaps you're in your blue period and that gold tiger's eye is just not the right look for you right now. There is nothing wrong with that. You will get to that stone if you need it one day, but why get a kit then that's going to have it in it? Same is true for the herbs. I can give you all kinds of herbs that are associated with all kinds of witchy things. And if I want to put a kit together that's generic for you, I'm going to pick the 5 cheapest and charge what I think I can get away with. I'd much rather you came in, called us, or went on our website and picked the 5 herbs you want to work with first, regardless of whether they're witchy or not. Them being in that kit doesn't make them witchy. Them being attached to a particular piece of folklore is not really what makes them witchy. What makes them witchy is how you use the herb. If they put hibiscus flower in that herb kit for you, and you don't think it's particularly witchy, and you just make yourself some delicious iced tea with it, okay. On the other hand, if you put intention behind it, and now suddenly that hibiscus iced tea has some meaning for you beyond just it tastes good and maybe cools you down a little bit, then it's a witchy herb. But it's not a witchy herb because I said so. It's a witchy herb because you said so, because you made it so by virtue of what you did with it, how you used it, how you related with it, how you referred to it, whether or not it brought magical enhancement to your life. So my gods, come in, go to our website, find things you want to play with to figure out how they work, do some magic with them, do some spells with them, incorporate them into your ritual. Now they are witchy herbs. Now they are witchy stones and crystals. If you bought that keychain because it was pretty, then it's just pretty. If you bought that keychain because it becomes a talisman for how you want to try to approach driving with, I don't know, less stress or less anger or less horn honking, then it's a magical talisman. But it's not if you just bought it because it looks cool. So if you're going to go about like collecting a beginner's ensemble of pieces to play with, my honest recommendations are going to be to get a book on ritual if you're interested in ritual, and a book on spellcasting if you're interested in spellcasting. Occasionally, you'll find a book that does both. My favorite introductory book right now is Thea Sabine's Wicca for Beginners. This is somebody I knew at one point for quite a few years when they lived in this area. Nice person, thoughtfully put together book, and she understands how to talk to grown-ups. And I don't find every author does. So I admire that piece. And that's the book I will recommend for the ritual work. And if you're looking for a book on magic, I recommend one that's a little generic. They might be tied to a particular type of tools or instruments. You might pick up a book on candle magic if that draws you, or crystal magic or herb magic. But look through it for some recipes would be my honest advice. Like I would eventually, if I were just getting into magical herbalism, I would eventually pick up Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Herbs, but it is just that. It's just an encyclopedia of herbs. There's not a lot of advice on how to put stuff together. You get more recipes in his household magic book than you do in his herbal encyclopedia book. So I would be looking for a recipe book. Even if I wind up making notes in the book that like, I hate that they put these two herbs together. I don't think they belong together at all. I'm going to pair this herb with this one over here, and this herb, I'm not going to work with this one unless I have this stone involved. Put the notes in so that when you go back to the book, you have better information than what the author could offer you because you have your own personal experience written in, and I love that. So absolutely, as you start on a journey in any branch of magic, you could have been pagan for the last 18 years if you're old enough, but really want to start getting into American folklore magic and hoodoo. Nothing wrong with that. Got a whole section of books on it. Come down, but look for those baseline books that help you play first. Play with the ritual, play with the magic, so that you can get to know how the system thinks and operates before you decide if it's a good system or a bad system for you personally. Now, that's my baseline advice. Same is true with tools. I wouldn't buy like a set of tools because inevitably you're not going to like one. And I'm also always going to be prepared to purchase the same type of item again. Of course, it's notorious for people who get into oracle card reading or tarot card reading that they wind up amassing a collection of decks, which is fine. Part of that is that sometimes there's a deck that's great, except for that one card. And that one card is just yucky or goofy, or you can't take that card seriously, so you can't read with that deck very well. It's just not going to be as effective for you as it should be. You're going to get a different deck. Maybe you'll give that one away. Maybe you'll bring it to a gather and put it on the take something, leave something table that a lot of spaces have these days. But regardless of what you end up doing with it, you learned what you could from that deck, and it became time to go to the next deck. There's nothing wrong with that. You will slowly collect books too. I'm just going to recommend you start with ones that give you concrete ways to use the stuff you want to use. So if you're looking for an athame, a double-edged knife, come and see what we've got, or go to the website and see what we've got and choose something that suits your style. Same is true with wands. We've got everything from incredibly plain, just stripped down sanded wood to ornately created. Some are metals, some are polymers, some are carved. There are all of these beautiful options, and you've got to pick something that resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's not going to work well for you. Especially with tools, I think. Do you need a fancy altar cloth? You need no altar cloth. Do you want an altar cloth? Well, it will catch wax that drips off of candles and misses the candle holder and spills onto the table. And it's easier to pull that off the table than it is to scrape a bunch of wax off a table. So I recommend an altar cloth for practical purposes, but it can just be a piece of fabric. It can be, I've used velvet for years. I've just gone and bought velvet and used velvet for years, but I've also used synthetic fabric because it looked pretty. I have used all natural cotton. I have used things with green men on them. I've used things with moons on them. You got to find the one you like. And you got to understand too, it's a semi-disposable item when it comes to altar cloths. The haphtame you're going to keep for a while. The wand you're going to keep for a while. The altar cloth, after a few years of regular use, might need to be replaced. It might just have so much wax in it that you weren't able to get out that it's just time to get a new one. And that's okay. Find a new one that means something for you where you are now, as opposed to where you were a few years ago when you picked that altar cloth out. So I hope this helps folks build confidence that you don't have to buy something that's put together in advance, that you can and should put your own beginner kit together for yourself, because you're not a generic human. None of us are. And a generic kit is never going to be completely right for you. I hope we get to see you here at the shop soon. And of course, everyone here at the shop, not just myself, but the rest of the staff and the readers, we really appreciate and love the magical you that you are. And we love the little magical things you can do here in social media land. You know what they are. I hope we get to see you soon at magusbooks.com or here at the shop in Minneapolis. Come check out some of those classes, the readers, and just kind of have a good time. We will see you all very soon. Blessed be.